1,000 subscribers. What if I tell you that we hit this number on this channel with just 8 videos? Everyone wants to get to 1,000,000 subscribers on YouTube. But the hard truth is that 91% of channels never even cross the 1,000 subscriber mark. I know this because I have been on YouTube for over 4 years now. I have created and failed multiple channels. But in the past 2 years, I have also managed to grow not one, but 2 channels past the 100K milestones. So I kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about. So in this video, I want to share with you how we got this channel to 1,000 subscribers with just 8 videos. And I have broken down the reasons into 4 sections because using these strategies, you can also grow your channel very easily and very quickly. So go ahead, hit that like button and let's make your channel grow. We need to start by first understanding why most new channels struggle to grow. It's because when you first come on YouTube, you do not have an audience. So people don't trust your content as much. Building that trust takes time and it takes consistent effort. For instance, on this channel, if we started by making videos about how to get more views on YouTube, that would have been a wasted effort because people would leave comments saying, grow your channel first, right? So despite the fact that I personally know a lot about the YouTube algorithm and how to grow on YouTube, starting a new channel with these topics would not work well because the audience does not trust me with this information yet. Now, this is something that every new YouTuber faces. They want to make so many different videos, but a lot of the topics will only work well once they have a substantial audience. So what do? You start by using strategy number 1, which is finding high leverage ideas. Now, this is the step that you want to spend most of your time on. Why do you think that this channel has grown to 1,000 subscribers with just 8 videos, despite the fact that we weren't very consistent? Or a channel like James Johnny, who probably posts once a year and still has grown exponentially, or something like Decoding Vitae. All of these channels have grown super quickly despite not maintaining consistency. The reason is the ideas they've chosen, specific high leverage ideas that are guaranteed to do well. Now, there are 2 ways to find such ideas. Method number 1 is trend jacking. Trend jacking is the act of capitalizing on an existing trend, which could either be a topic or a YouTuber, to boost your own growth on YouTube. This means that since you do not have an audience yet, you make a video on a topic that people are already interested in, and then convert those viewers into your own audience. Now, trends could be anything from a big YouTuber, trending news, a new product, or a new controversy. Even the biggest YouTubers on the planet use trend jacking as a method. Think of Paddy Galloway, who literally made his YouTube career by analyzing videos of the biggest YouTubers in the space who were viral at that point in time. This brings us to method number 2, which is finding outlier ideas in your own niche. Now, this is similar to trend jacking, but it is done for a specific niche. For example, my niche, which is AI and YouTube growth, has so many different channels, and they're already doing a lot of this work. So looking at what ideas have worked for them and have gotten them 3-4 times the number of views as compared to their subscriber count or their average view count can tell me what ideas are working well. It can give me potential ideas to work on that don't just rely on trends. Now, these work because we know we have proof of concept that these topics are already working for the audience in our niche. And if I create videos on them, my channel also has the potential to reach these viewers. So even for this channel, I knew that if I took the typical route of finding a niche and then finding high search volume ideas, etc., that could take a lot of time for this channel to grow. So instead, I went ahead and searched for outlier ideas in our niche on other channels, and this gave us an initial boost with our last video even crossing 10,000 views and our channel hitting 1,000 subscribers pretty quickly. But does this mean that everyone who is following these strategies always gets views? Well, no, because unless you fix the other things on this list, it's going to be a difficult road. This brings us to strategy number 2, which is packaging your video. Packaging means your title and your thumbnail. Now, while pushing out videos to the audiences, YouTube primarily looks at two metrics. These are CTR, or the click-through rate, and watch time. Your title and your thumbnail determine your CTR. Now, this number basically shows how many people who were shown your video actually clicked on it. Now, there's no universal number of your CTR that determines a video's virality. On YouTube, most videos have a CTR of between 2 to 10%, but in videos that go viral, I have initially seen that CTR is towards the higher 10% side. So that's something to keep in mind. This is the reason that most YouTube experts suggest creating your title and your thumbnail before you even start scripting your video. This keeps your creativity free of bias and gives you a lot more room to experiment with viral concepts. But what exactly makes a good title and a thumbnail? This requires a detailed video by itself, and I am going to make one on it. But for now, you need to focus on these few things. One is a clear point of focus. What is the most important thing in your video that you want to communicate to the viewer? That should be in focus in your thumbnail. Two is clear the clutter. People have very small attention spans nowadays, right? So the more elements you have on your screen, on your thumbnail, the harder it is for them to pay attention. So go ahead, remove all the elements that do not add any value to the thumbnail. Three is bright and contrasting colors that are easily readable and visible. And four, the thumbnail and title should complement each other. Instead of repeating the same words or same phrases in both your title and your thumbnail, try and creating a story out of it. Try and complement each other instead of making them repetitive. Let me show you this with an example. For instance, for this video, the elements I want to highlight are 8 videos and 1,000 subscribers. So a format like this, where we can show the contrast between the first video and the 8th video, will look great. I will make it even more evident with contrasting colors, and I will keep the text bold. And now all we need is a good expression in the middle to add some depth to the thumbnail. And this fulfills all of our criteria. Now imagine if this thumbnail looked like this instead. This has too many elements, it's a lot more cluttered, and it just overall makes it a lot harder to pay attention. And by the way, I used Simplified AI's design suite to make my thumbnail. It is super intuitive and super easy to use, plus it gives you access to a lot of AI features that make the designing process a lot easier. Now that we've gotten people to click on our video, the next step is to keep them watching. And this brings us to strategy number 3, which is great script. Now, besides the CTR, the other metric that YouTube looks at when pushing out content to the audience is watch time, or average view duration. The longer you can keep your viewers watching, the more are the chances of YouTube pushing the video out to more people. But for most YouTube videos, after a viewer clicks on the video, they drop off within the first 30 seconds. A good script actually helps you prevent this because it improves retention and it keeps the audience hooked on to watching your video for longer. Now, what do I mean by a great script? This again needs a separate video, but a few things to focus on right now are: 1, a great intro. This is the first 30 seconds of your video, and you need to make it as compelling as possible. Your aim with this is to get as many people to continue watching your video after the first 30 seconds. 2 is using simple language. The simpler the language is, the easier it is for people to retain information and the more they are compelled to stick around. Some of the biggest channels in the business excel at doing this. So if you make stuff too complicated too quickly, people have a hard time keeping track and therefore their attention drops. I personally find that using an AI tool can really help you simplify your script writing, especially if you're not a writer. I use Simplified AI's writer tool to generate the first draft of my script. This is what a sample prompt looks like. And once it generates the script, I go ahead and make edits to change the intro and the hook and to add personal examples to it so it is fine-tuned for my channel. Now, using an AI tool can cut down on so much of the time and give you a much better result than just shooting around in the dark. Now, the other thing that is just as important as your script in retaining your audience is your editing. And when people hear the word editing, they think of crazy graphics and animation and fast-paced cuts. But in reality, that has very little to do with retaining viewers on your channel. For example, look at Jensen Tung's channel. He doesn't have crazy editing or fast-paced cuts, but his videos are extremely engaging to watch. Similarly, we have Decoding YT, who manages to retain his audience for very long despite not even having a face on camera. And that is because of a few important reasons. One is using appropriate visuals or graphics to help with your visual storytelling. Both these channels tend to use visuals that match what they are saying in the video. And if a concept cannot be expressed visually, they use either text or graphics or even the right expressions to convey it. Second is your audio experience. Now, this is just as important as the visual experience. A well-edited video can generate the right emotion in your viewer through the use of music and sound effects. Again, editing is something that AI can massively help you with. If you are just starting out on YouTube, using Simplified AI's text-to-video tool can be a game changer for you, and I do not say this lightly. You just take your script and ask Simplified to turn that into a video in your own voice. This is a sample of what it can create, right? And you can see that it gets all of the basics spot on. It has correct visuals, it has the right music, your voiceover is well paced, and you can then go ahead, replace some of the stock footage with your own clips. You can even replace certain bits with A-roll, which is you sitting and speaking in front of a camera if that's what you like. And then your video gets ready in no time. Now, in addition to these 4 strategies, there are a few other things that you need to keep in mind when you are creating content for YouTube. One is consistency. I know that I said we achieved this without being very consistent. Yeah, but we could have achieved this goal a lot quicker had we been consistent on this channel. Second is optimizing your titles and your tags for searchability. Now, this is not the most important factor, but it is an additional thing which increases the shelf life of your video, which means that if someone searches for a specific topic you're sharing, you are more likely to show up on their search results. Now, I will be making videos covering each of these steps in detail, but for now, you should check out this video next to learn about the viral niche you can try for your next YouTube channel to make it go viral very, very quickly. And I'm going to see you guys very soon with the next one.